So the other day, before I went into the hospital, I was studying Proverbs 31 about the virtuous woman, and I did not get to share it with you because I went into the hospital, but let me go ahead and share it with you guys now. So Proverbs 31 verses 10 to 31 talks about the virtuous woman. So let's go ahead and get right into this. So verse 10 says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies." So a virtuous woman has a lot of value to her husband. So that's awesome. Like, I know that I personally want to be valuable to my husband. What girl doesn't? So that's verse 10. Verse 11 says, "The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil." So her husband can safely trust her. She won't go and blow all his money. So he knows that he can trust her with his substance. She's not going to go out and blow it. She's not going to go and spend all that he has. Designer bags and stuff like that. I don't know why my phone is kicking me off. So that's verse 11. Verse 12 says, "She will do him good and no evil all the days of her life." How awesome is that? And so I wrote, "She will do him good in all the days of her life." How awesome is that? That's funny, I just said that. To do your husband good. I want to treat my husband good, and in return, he will do me good. And that's like how we should all strive to be, to treat, like, we're supposed to treat others how we would want to be treated. And I know that I want my husband to feel loved and secure around me, and know that I'm not going to do him harm like all the days of my life. I love my husband. So I do want to strive to do that. And then verse 13 says, "She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands." So I put, she is willing to work with her hands. I don't know how to make clothes, but I would if I had to. But I love making like bread. I love cooking. I may not know how to do stuff like that, but me personally, like, I like to do what I can do. If I had to make clothes, I would. I know I have sewn stuff before, or if my husband needs patches or something on his jacket, I always try to do stuff like that. Sorry, I have a really bad cough right now. So that is verse 13. Verse 14 says, "She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar." Sorry. And I put, she can afford imported foods for her household. So because what she brings to the table and what her husband brings, they're wealthy, and they're able to even afford food that normally would be more expensive. So imported foods, which is awesome. I know that I love like imported Portuguese food. I love when I'm able to I go to Hanford and I'm able to get Portuguese bread and stuff. And I love that. And I do want to be able to provide good food for my family, just like everyone else. Verse 15 says, "She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and portion to her maids." So she makes sure her household is well fed and makes enough to be shared with others. And I think that's a good principle to always live for. Make more than enough, because it's never bad to have leftovers anyway if you want to eat them the next day. But in case somebody stops by, you have enough food to feed them. I know Portuguese are really big on that. They cook way more than enough, and when you come into their home, they're like, "Eat, eat, eat." Like, they are always so loving and want you to eat. Make sure that you're well fed, because they may not have a lot of money to offer, but what they do have, they're more than willing to share, which is food. And I love that. I know I'm probably not the best at rising early because I do YouTube, and so I'm usually up to like 1 o'clock in the morning editing videos, but I do that so that I can afford to buy food when we travel to Bakersfield and back. It's usually the money that I make staying up late at night that provides food for my family. So I don't rise up early, but I stay up super, super late to provide for my family because it's the only time that I can do it. And then so when I do get up, that's my time with Abba Father, reading my word, and that's where I studied this from. So that time is very precious to me to spend time with my Lord. Okay. Verse 16 says, she considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. So she makes enough money to buy a field and grows her own food. I personally would love to be able to do that one day, to garden. I live in California. My whole backyard's dirt and it has weeds and stuff, so I'm not able to do that now. But if I was ever able to move or something, I would love to be able to plant my own food, because organic's the best, and I can't afford organic right now for my family. So that would mean so much to me to be able to do that one day. Right now I can't, but God willing, in the future I'll be able to do that. So verse 17 says, she girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms, so she is strong and willing to work. So that's awesome. Verse 18 says, she perceiveth that her merchant is good, her candle goeth not out by night. So what she makes and grows is so good that her family is always provided for. And she's even able to sell it and make profit for her family. Verse 19, she layeth her hands on the spindle, and her hands hold distaff. So she is able to make clothing by her own hands. That would be awesome. Like nowadays, we really don't have to do that. Back then, you kind of had to, like if you really wanted to be well clothed. I'm glad I don't have to do that, because I'm like, I can't imagine keeping up with everything that I have to keep up on top of that. So we are very blessed these days. So verse 20 says, she stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. So she feeds the poor and helps those in need. And that's beautiful. Like personally, me, my husband, my kids, we all go out usually on Saturday, and we get to feed the homeless and share Jesus with them. Like, you know, and even like when we do potlucks, we like to go out at our church and invite homeless people and stuff, people that can't repay you. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to try to reach out your hands to people that can't pay you back, because there's a way bigger blessing than receiving money back. And I'm all about that. I love helping out people, and it's more joyous knowing that you're not doing it for like ill intent. You're doing it because you really want to help people and you love people. And like, I love to pray for people. I get turned down a lot, but for the ones that I do get to pray for, it's nice and it's encouraging and it builds you up. So I love doing that. So verse 21 says, she is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. So her household are well clothed and costly clothes. Like they don't have to worry about anything. They're well taken care of, which is awesome. So verse 22 says, she maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. So her whole house shows the work of her hands and is very nice. So even like her curtains and everything are very well made, just because she's able to afford that because of all that she's bringing to the table. Which like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I homeschool. I don't really have a lot of time to do extra stuff like that, but that would be awesome to do that. I try to do like YouTube for a side income because I do want to help provide for my house. I think that it's important. Although my husband says I don't need to, it does feel nice to be able to help your family in that way. So maybe one day I'll be able to help them more, but right now I'm doing what I can. And that's awesome. Okay, so verse 23 says, her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Her husband is known and respected. That is so awesome. I love that I do have a godly husband who is known for being godly, and that's all I could ever ask for. So I want to be a good godly wife for him as well. So verse 24 says, she maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchants. I think that's what it said. That's what I wrote down. If it's not, I'm sorry. I was writing down quickly, but I put she sells fine clothing. So that's pretty cool because she makes everything herself. So she makes extra and is able to sell it and bring profit to her house. Verse 25 says, strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. So she is strong and has honor so that she has no fear of the future. That's amazing. Verse 26, she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. So she is kind with her words and knows what to say. I'm not always the best at knowing what to say. A lot of times when we're out ministering to homeless people, my husband will make people cry by like preaching the gospel, and then he sends them to me, and I don't even know what he was saying or anything or what they were going through, and I'm just like, I don't know what to say. But I just try to hug and love and help him out in that way. Verse 27, she looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. So she makes sure her family is taken care of and eats well. And she's not idle, like she's not just sitting around doing nothing. She's always making sure that she's doing something. Verse 28 says, her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. So her children and her husband are blessed by her and praises her. That's awesome. Verse 29, many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. So you have done far beyond what you are called to do. And that's how I want to be. I think that's how we all strive, both men and women. We both can learn from this. Verse 30, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. So charm can be deceitful and beauty is only on the outside. But a woman that fears God is the best thing you can have. So the fear of the Lord. So it's not saying that you can't look nice on the outside. It's just that shouldn't be what people see when they first see you. They should see the love of God in you and that you are a virtuous woman. That goes far beyond anything that's outwardly, is what's inwardly and what proceeds out of your mouth. Verse 31, give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. So give her what she works for, and let the way she works and lives be what she is known for in the end. And it's awesome. One time my husband, my blow dryer went out, and I was staying up super, super late with my daughter. She was a newborn baby. And my husband seeing, like, he would wake up in the middle of the night and I was sitting here loving on her, taking care of her, changing her diapers. And so he went out of his way and researched like the best blow dryer that you could possibly buy. And he's like, no, you work and I see all that you do and I want to bless you in that. And I thought it was like such a blessing to me, because I don't do it to be seen. I do it because it's what I'm called to do. And for him to acknowledge that was such a blessing to me, and it was so nice that he said that, and he does that. He does stuff like that all the time. I'm a very blessed woman, and I'm so grateful for my husband. So that is Proverbs 31. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye. God bless.